So a lot of good stuff there. Alan and I were talking about this earlier. We have a couple of fans, and these fans are incredibly powerful. They're incredibly powerful and incredibly noisy, and so the one thing is we can use those extension cords and other things. It's sort of like set them up and get out of the way because they are powerful. The only other thing is too, if you're using them for air drying, we have had a problem where people set up books for air drying and stand up the books, and then these blow so hard that they shut the books and knock them down. So you really have to watch out for that. You have to have somebody monitoring that the books you're trying to dry aren't falling down because the pressure from the wind is so high. We also have, this one is even stronger. This is ridiculously strong. Grizzly power.
Yeah, this one is great for drying carpet. We've used these at Duquesne numerous times. Usually our facilities people bring them in. I'm actually to the point where I'm probably going to request that we just have one in our building, because what happens is our facilities people are like, oh, we got to find a blower, and then they start going from building to building to building, trying to figure out which buildings have the blowers in them. So this is on my list to get for actually for ourselves. There's also a dehumidifier and a shop vac. And at first I thought, why would we need this? My facilities people have this. And then last summer we did have a problem, and the facilities guys came with a shop vac that I could have fit my body in. And then all of a sudden, none of their attachments, because they have stuff in all their different buildings. So by the time they were running around looking for attachments, I had already filled 2 of these on my hands and knees, just getting it up. And by the time they got there, they were like, oh, it's done. And I was like, yeah, yours would have been great if the attachments and everything were together. So, because when I first started to do this, I thought, well, that's what my facilities people are for. And then after about 3 disasters, I realized you can't count on it. Even plastic was a drama. The very first time that we had a disaster, you would think, okay, we need plastic. There's rain coming in, and they're like, plastic? What building is plastic in? I'm like, really? So, we have all that.
I can add too, we had the same problem when Hurricane Ivan hit. Every Pit building was having flooding problems.
Yeah.
And they only have so much equipment.
Exactly.
So after that, the assistant director said we need to order some of our own equipment to have on hand to start. So we have similar things in this building as well as on the library. Same issue.
We used to do our own fans someplace I worked, just because inevitably they were always elsewhere, or we couldn't get them fast enough. Just ended up buying our own and having them strategically placed around the building.
If you need extra fans, get the kind that we have here, either one of those blowers or something like this. Do not get oscillating fans, because I've had 2 situations where one in Texas, in my hometown library where I live, they set up a fan to air dry the books, and nobody stayed there overnight. The oscillating fan somehow or other caught and broke and caught on fire, and it burned all the books that they were trying to dry. So they had 100 books that should have been dried, but they all got burned. So, and then the other one is, at a former place of employment that will go unnamed because they are embarrassed that this happened, but they had an oscillating fan that was just because they didn't have very good cooling in the building, and it got stuck and it caught on fire, and it actually burned a whole bunch of people's desks and work areas. But the worst part was, it was sort of an old style building, and so they had a lot of carpeted dividers and carpet on the wall, and the smoke damage from that burning meant that they had to move 300 people out of the building for 3 months while they cleaned it up and repainted it and recarpeted the walls and stuff.
The other thing too is, see, something like this is heavy duty. This thing here is okay to be in your building overnight with it on. Whereas some of the things that we just buy for our home, they're not meant.
Right.
They are just not meant to run like that. Yeah. Whereas something like this, that's the point of it. So you have to be real careful when you're buying this kind of stuff, that it's just not like the thing you would buy for home, because they're just not meant to run 24 hours at a time.
Speaking of heat, don't those halogen lamps get incredibly hot?
Yes. They do
so
get hot.
I was thinking maybe just to be cautious, don't lay anything on top
Right.
of it. Don't,
Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And don't get too close to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
because
get, you feel.
you can feel the heat.
Yeah.
I mean, you might get an indoor suntan.
Yes.
So that could be a problem. This is some really important stuff here that's actually in this one. We've got a waterproof camera. And this might be something that needs to be used for an insurance claim later. You may need to take photos and get those used for an insurance claim. And Tracy she was saying, do we really need one of those? Because everybody has them, but we thought it would be good to have one in sort of the cache of a digital camera. And certainly those can be used for a couple of different things. It can be used to communicate to other people who might not be near your institution but are around the area and say, this is how bad it is. You know, Alliance for Response people get here really quick. Or it might be something that you can use for some type of insurance claim as well.
A lot of the stuff in here is more like office supply type stuff. There's index cards, tablets, labels, lots of all different types of scissors.
Those are the most wild looking
They
scissors I've seen in a long time. I want to stand back.
These ones are Home Depot.
Okay.
And these were in a 3-pack of different sizes. So,
We may even take some of those downstairs with us to try out.
so there's all different kinds of scissors.
Okay.
Okay.
And we've got a lot of
Markers.
and things in there, and this is really important too, to mark the boxes, especially if there are call number ranges or material accession number ranges that you're taking materials from, because it's very hard to get the things back in order. And it's also hard to know how many things you're sending out unless you keep a good record while they're going out.
These things were extremely expensive.
Okay.
It's too much.
I
I wanted to see, there's only 25 here. I think one, it's because of what they're made out of.
Mhm.
It's not like,
But it's Tyvek.
yeah,
Waterproof.
you know, so, but like on here, it says collection, protection, triage tag, and it's, you know, you identify the level of damage, identify the relative value. So really, you could probably take these and do something similar. Like I thought, you know, once you run out of these, at least this is helpful if you're going through the process to maybe continue either with the labels that you're using or something else.
We can send one of these around for everybody to take a look at and see the kind of information they have. And we might want to
That's what kind
do
of-
something like that.
Or
And
generate our own, like take that
We
information and
yeah.
generate our own label.
Right.
That we can just
Exactly.
smack on the box.
right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or I also just bought packs of waterproof paper, so you could just print your own.
Yeah. So, which would probably be cheaper.
Well, we need to take those out.
Clothespins, which you'll see what we're going to do with the clothespins. Do we need
For sure.
all of them or just take two?
Let's take like 2. Yeah, that would be fine.
Okay, all kinds of tape.
Yeah.
These are Tyvek aprons. I modeled one before you all came, but I modeled one.
That's right, I have a picture.
Just different kinds, there's all different types of tape. Here's fishing line, which you're gonna see, we're gonna take one of these with us. This is just clothesline.
And then tape guns here. And then
We're gonna take one of
we do
these.
not want these in people's offices. Do not hang the caution tape up in your office, unless there's actually damage to it. But it's not for decoration, it's actually for regular use after a disaster. And this is really to keep the public out of the areas where there has been any level of disaster. I actually was working in a library recently where they had some leaks, and they had the caution tape completely over. It's a historic structure. They had the caution tape just strung over the area because they had a lot of people from the public who used that area and used it for newspaper research, used it for job research and that kind of
We're
thing.
gonna
So,
take one of those?
yes, yeah. I don't know if we need the caution tape. Probably not, but having this is
You
good.
can never, there's so many things you can do with duct tape. You don't even need me to
That's right.
tell you, duct tape. And then just utility knives, bunch of those.
Just don't try to go on a plane with any of those.
No.
I did a class in New Jersey, and I had to throw that away because I remembered I had it on my carry-on, so it didn't work out very well. We've got all sorts of brooms. We've got mops that can be used. And let's see here, are the snow shovels up here or not?
They're right
Oh, they're right there. Okay. These are really important, and I've used these a couple of times, and I thought people might send this to I don't know where today when we were walking with snow shovels. But this is really good because if these ceiling tiles fall down, you need to clear a path, and the ceiling tiles can get extremely heavy if they get filled with water, and I don't want you both having to try to pick it up and having it fall apart in your hand, or just generally lifting it or getting hit by it. So what I would suggest is to just use these snow shovels, scoop up the ceiling tiles, and get them out of your way. Because you've got to clear a path into the shelving areas where you are. That's really an important thing to try to do. And then I think the last thing that we've got a bunch of, and this is always necessary, is plastic sheeting. We've got some 2 mil, and I think we're ordering some 3 mil as
is
well.
on the way too.
Yeah, and you go ahead and you can talk a little bit about it.
For us at Duquesne, the first time we had to use this, we made the decision to do a lot of pre-cut once we did that. The best thing for you to do, if there's an area that you know every time it rains really bad, that you get water, the best thing is to have this pre-cut, but it's also very good to have some of this that isn't cut. Because the last time we had so much of it pre-cut, in an area that we don't normally get water got hit, and we had to be really creative because we didn't have the rolls that we needed, the pieces weren't big enough. So it's good if you know an area pre-cut, but it's also good just to have rolls that aren't cut yet.
So we'll be taking some of that out. We'll probably we might as well take one of these whole things out to work on any archivable paper that you have. We'll do a short demo out there of the kind of things that you can just use the regular paper towel with. But the good thing is this is unprinted paper towel. And it's very difficult, especially around Easter or summer or Halloween, to get unprinted paper towel, but you don't want the prints transferring off to your materials.
Is one of these enough or do you want two?
Let's take 2. Might as well. And we can also grab one of the things with plastic sheeting. These can go downstairs with us, and we'll use those to sort of prepare our areas that we're working in. And okay, so what we've got left up here are, we've got the buckets, we've got the boxes of rags, we've got other sets of paper towels, we've got the spill pillows. And you can actually, this is actually something that I have not used in the disaster yet, but a number of people have told me is worthwhile to have, is to get this, and this can be used for, in some cases, some of the cleaning spray can be used in it, but I've also seen people just using distilled water in it if they feel like there are areas where they need to just wipe down something or clean out dust or that type of thing. So we've got that, and we also have the roll of newsprint. We will take this down with us, and this is going to be used for wrapping some of the materials that we have that we're going to sort of do a wet book pack out on in the boxes that we've got. So we have some of this here. I also have freezer paper that I have to remember to get out of the trunk of my car. I brought everything over
I do
here.
have that on order too. What happened was,